Hey there everybody, this is Mr. Lewis, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to throw a bowl on the wheel. First off, I'm going to get my wheel ready by adding some water and making sure the clay will stick. Then I'm going to attach my big lump of clay before I start to speed the wheel up and start to try to center it. When I'm centering, I like to cone up and down if the clay isn't wedged. That's what I'm doing right here. By pushing on the front of the clay and pulling the back side of the clay towards me, I can cone it up and push it back down so the clay gets wedged while it's spinning on the wheel. Once I've coned up and down a few times, then I'll make sure the clay is nice and centered before pushing down into the center to create the opening. Here I'm preparing the clay to throw a bowl, so the angle that I'm creating in the divot in the middle of the spinning clay should come from the tips of my fingers versus using my thumb. You'll notice that when I'm creating the opening for a bowl, the fingertips push down in the center while the palm of my hand is angled up slightly so that I can create that indentation in the middle called the opening that is somewhat already curved like a bowl should be. Once I've centered and opened the clay, then I can start to pull. My first pull is just going to get the clay going in the right direction. I'm going to really push hard at the very base of the clay on the outside with my right hand so that I can start the indentation right against the bat, grabbing some clay over and over again as I start the pulling process. Each time I start a pull, I want to make sure that I'm beginning right at the very bottom of the clay, right against the bat, and then applying my pressure both inside and out, trying to think about the shape of the bowl having that really clear curve both inside and out. The shape of my pulls tends to look like a J, beginning close to the clay at the bottom. As I lift up and out, I'm also drawing that J shape. You can kind of see it really clear in this pull. The path that my fingers take define the profile of the bowl, giving it that distinct curve, trying not to create so much of a dramatic change in the direction from the floor to the wall, but a nice subtle curve that produces the bowl form. Once you've pulled a nice bowl shape, then you're going to try to clean it up, compress the rim so that it doesn't crack, compress the floor so that you don't get a crack there, and maybe even wiping off that extra slip that is on the inside and outside. Thanks for watching my video on how to throw a bowl, folks, and I hope this really helps you in your process as a ceramicist.